say something here. Look, sure, we hear about things like the Mandela effect, and we can question what sort of reality we're living in. You know, it's interesting to explore these things. The hollow movement, multiverses, you know, simulations, etc. And there's so many different types of reality that, yeah, could be true. Pretty much actually infinite numbers. We're in an infinite universe. But right now, most of us are here in this universe. And B. And there's this sort of thing, you know, that we say, hi D, we say, sorry, and now am I in portrait or landscape to you? Am I sort of lying down sideways? Does it matter? Sorry, I just had to look at something. You know, we say these things to people all the time, perhaps about confidence, you know, act it and it becomes real. And there's the joke, you know, about George Costanza, where it's not a lie if you believe it. And we can question things about society and what the truth really is and what the status quo really is. And there's so many billion people on the planet that we can have so many ideas about what's actually happening, but the fact of the matter is that there are a collective of humans on this planet Earth right now, perhaps all sharing the same reality, and in that reality there is a young woman called Kiely RODNI who has passed away, and the circumstances are grim, a kind of macabre, and they're suspicious, and they're very tragic. And like a lot of true crime cases that catch fire through the community, the reason they do, these cases do capture us and enrapture us and, you know, nearly possess us, is because of all the factors, okay, and because of the characters, let's call them, and it's very easy to go off on tangents and follow every thread and try to work out what's the truth, what's important and what's not. And because weird things can happen and it still doesn't have to have anything to do with how a person died or disappeared. Life is very strange and complicated and there's lots of variables, okay, but if one person is losing their mind, you don't need to go along with them. You don't need to have the reality that you can choose to live in shattered, destroyed. You don't need to enter this other person's world, right? And let me try something. I've got so much makeup on today, I've got to go somewhere soon. And sorry, I worked this out one day. I mean, it's only been about 3 years, right, that I've been doing this. So why I've just popped on here to say this, because I won't get an opportunity a little bit later, is we probably all know that Brian Upchurch is, hello Jules, has come out with this short clip saying that Kylie is actually portrayed by or is a person called Kelly Ross. Kelly Ross being this character from this movie in 2014, Callista Kelly Ross. And you can choose, okay? So yeah, we don't know what the fabric of the universe is like, what reality we're all living in, what matrix we're in, anything, right? But the fact of the matter is we're all here now. There's no use discombobulating yourself and undermining yourself for, I'm not saying this very well, sure, maybe whatever you believe, well, that's real and that's reality, right? So you've also got a choice about it, okay? Trust me, you really do. And many people know this. So you don't have to, you can just say no, and you can get such strength and such a feeling of stability and dry land and everything from that. I am not saying that, as I said before, I'm not saying that there isn't something very, grim, macabre, tragic, bizarre, off, suspicious about what's happened to Kiely Rodney, because 100% there is, right? Yeah, there just is. We all know it. And if I wanted to tell you how it's a psyop, yeah, I could. We all could. I mean, you look at where the planes seem to be all riding, and none of them were flying over the water. They just went over the campsite. It's nearly as if it's scripted for AWP to be the one to find it, so they can. There's there's actually infinite ways you can write the story, but you can choose that, or you can choose to be a bit more steady and to remain in this world, this universe. I can't explain what I mean because it's off the cuff. I'm kind of nearly shaking with disgust, okay, at the creature from the creek. And actually, normally, wouldn't you say a creature is a female? It's normally something that's thrown at a female. Ryan is clearly this QAnon style person. His mother is the same. People just think, it's people that, they'll say, you just don't think like us. And if you don't think like us, you don't understand us. That's not entirely true. And the thing is, you see, people can be understood and even agreed with along to a certain point. But give people time and they expose themselves. You'll see who they follow and what they believe, and suddenly, might start going down that slippery slope with Sean Atwood, and then deeper and deeper and deeper, and, Ryan Upchurch is doubling down, and I'm not looking so beautiful. I'm not feeling very beautiful at all. Oh my God. I wish I'd started plastic surgery about 10 years ago, but anywho, it's too late now. And I had my hair planned. I've got to get ready soon to go, but anyway, appearance doesn't matter. And that's what I'm saying. I just had to get this out. As I said, I'm not going to have the opportunity to see what crap Ryan's going to come up with and what he's going to say, but he's put out his preview. And when you're caught in okay, so you can look at it infinite ways, right? He's being asked to do this by the FBI. This is just, it's all entertainment now, because we live in such a fake world, and we've had a huge shift, and now nothing is real, and this is a new way of just controlling us, because now, we have all this technology and everything suddenly, and now this is the new reality where we are, kept muted and dumb and everything, right? Because let me tell you, I mean, if anything's going to take your IQ down, it's some of the theories around this sort of shit. We don't need an upchurch to say, yeah, something is very off here. I can't see, this is a trap. It's all a trap, really, with how you want to talk about it, because you could never have the words and the time to say all the, but of course this, and I get this, and this. And if people hear you say something, they take it as a definitive or anything. I mean, it's just not the entirety of what you can think. But, oh God, sorry, I wish I'd never started this like this. I should have just uploaded a short. But this is more immediate because I can speak for a little bit longer than a minute, and it's directly uploaded without me having to upload it. I'm so angry. I'm so disgusted. Sure, the whole thing can be just a lark, a farce, or it could be a lark and a farce at any level or any part of it. And there's just enough that, but look at the bullshit around the way he looks at Google Earth. He will say, no, I've been doing this all-knowing. I'm all-knowing. I'm doing this on purpose, because he's a fool who can't apologize, admit when he's wrong. It's called doubling down, and it's a psychological condition, construct that it's something that people do, certain personalities will do. And, it's time for him there's someone that I support on here quite wholeheartedly, because it is just the way she does her channel. It's, it is entertainment, but she it's talk about everything, but everything is kept very moderate usually, and polite and respectful, and, you get to the right conclusion eventually. But when Ryan Upchurch has infected people to the point where people you think are good people, good creators, good people, are calling Zanime, no matter what you think of her or who she really is, when they are calling her herpy lip as well, it's really hard to maintain respect. Just to rattle that off as if it's her name. Her name's Anastasia. Oh, sorry, Ryan Upchurch will tell you that she's not. Now, sure, maybe she's working with the FBI. Maybe people have suspected all along, and it's been a big sting to work out who exactly has murdered Kiely RODNI. Ryan's going to say it's all very convenient that she's been living off grid. He is saying that her father doesn't exist. I think her grandfather doesn't exist. Everyone is back to being crisis actors, and this is just, keeping the masses dumb and enthralled. Hey, particular reality might be that, but let's just choose to live in a world where the people that we are interacting is real. It actually doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if this isn't real. We are here experiencing it. This is what we're experiencing. So why would you start treating people as if they are nothing, or that they are, Ryan is not, it's all about himself. He is not doing this for Kiely. He is acting in a very narcissistic, psychotic fashion, but he is so self-aggrandizing. He's so arrogant. He's always been boastful and everything and things like that. That's part of shtick, right? That's shtick. He's a rap artist. So, you know. Yeah, sorry. This has been just terrible. I wish I could be succinct about it now. It's just really because I'm just so sick of it, so shaken, so shook. And it's just, you just know what is to come. We can all see without Ryan Upchurch that there is something very, very wrong here. There's something very wrong with Sammy, whatever it is, and I shouldn't, well, maybe there is as a person, but with what she's saying and doing, and, give her enough rope and she can hang herself, right? So maybe this is why, for as much faith as we've lost in law enforcement and everything, we have to realize, look, they are on the case. There are many agencies involved. And I do have my suspicions, okay? I mean, where was Kiely RODNI's phone in her car? Because her pink charger is there. But when you get in your car, and if you've been having trouble with charging your phone all night, drunk or not, I mean, maybe you drop it on the seat or whatever, but generally what you're going to do is plug your phone in to the charger, but the phone wasn't there. And it's a New Zealand accent, but it's a bit bastardized into some Australian. So where was her phone? How do these kids, a lot of these children, they are children, some of them, and even at 18, 21, some of them will still have parents paying for things. So they, I think it's different in America. I think people can get burner phones without having to give ID and all their details. In Australia, and I think in New Zealand, if you want a burner phone, you can't. I mean, there will be ways to get them, and steal phones and things like that, I guess. But if you just want to buy a burner phone, no, you've got to give your passport or driver's license. They're all registered, but in America, I think it's different, maybe. So these children and young adults probably have burner phones. I would like to know if Kiely, would she be the type? I imagine Sammy might have one if her parents are paying for her phone. She'd have a burner phone so that she can just arrange if she's using drugs or buying alcohol or drugs. It's a touchy subject to talk about. But, where was Kiely's phone? Sammy has mentioned something about maybe an Android, like a Samsung that was found. But yeah, right. See, we can buy those sort of phones, FM Extra, but you still have to that number is still registered to you. So, if you've got fake ID, fake details, yeah. But, you have to really go through those motions. Just a general person who is, it's to try and stop crime, right? But what about a wife whose husband monitors everything, and she needs a phone to be able to communicate with people, or to have, so that if he, at times when he's taking her phone away, she needs to have a means of communication, right? In those sort of situations, and all sorts of situations. But of course they can be used for all sorts of moving and shaking reasons. That bothers me. It bothers me that Boca is where this apparent situation happened. Now, we do know, we have to just say we know that law enforcement have the roadside assistance video, okay? They know whether it was Kiely, whether it was Jagger, whether it was Sammy, Kate, Mags. I mean, one theory would be that Mags, her job was to take the car there, and then just she bailed with her boyfriend Roscoe. But you know, Boca, this whole Reno thing's coming up a lot, isn't it? And when you drive from Prosser Reserve, you go past Boca, that Boca Reserve, on the way to Nevada. So I found that interesting. Reno's only 34 minutes away from Prosser Reservoir. That's interesting, Jules. Yeah, see, it's just so different there. And, you know, a lot of crime is lubricated and facilitated by all these burner phones, right? Whereas, you know, it's a bit more, it's tricky here. You have to, you know, it makes it harder for regular citizens who might want them for just any reason for privacy, not really for crime. So, yeah, and Reno's close by. So you've got Prosser Reservoir, you've got Kiely's house down there, Boca Reserve, where the apparent incident with her car happened, and then Reno. And I just found that interesting that that's where, you know, had they been there? Were they coming back? You know, and, you know, if it was Mag's job to take the car there, I mean, I guess so that it was a Kiely sighting there, why would they then take it away to Reno and come back? It's all very confusing, but we can trust that the police know what they're doing. And we don't need, you know, choose to live in a world, just choose to live in it. Choose to live in this universe, this dimension, or whatever you want to think of it as, where Kiely Rodni is a real girl. She grew up with her family. She performed in public, singing with a bluegrass band. She was the product of parents that split up. She's got people in lots of different areas of her world that have grown up with her, so that would know her from when the family was together, the nuclear family, that would know her when she moved or whatever happened, however they ended up in Truckee, the mother. Maybe the new partner already lived there. Maybe they decided to make a go of it there together, the mother, you know. But whatever, I'm actually glad. I'm glad that I'm not going to be able to be watching what Ryan's going to be saying, and I hope I have the strength not to watch it, but I feel like I will. But it's just waiting for what's going to come after this is so... It's such an infiltration. It's all the flying monkeys that go out everywhere, and you know, because he's got a lot of them. A channel with 10, 20, 30,000 can have a lot of flying monkeys. It only takes one or two to really hurt people. And yeah, you know, I feel like there is some sense of betrayal there. This Fight Club thing, FMX, it really bugs me. It really bugs me. You know, because Sammy and Kiely weren't following each other, and girls unfollow each other when they have a falling out. So was there this passive aggressive mean girl behavior at the party when Kiely ended up at this party? Was she not really welcomed by, oh God, you know, this is so cruel, isn't it? If she's got nothing to do with it, which we must remember is a possibility. But, you know, was she not really welcomed there by Sammy? Was there a fight? You know, or did something happen earlier before the party? You know, we just don't know. But we have to this is where that trust thing comes in. We have to trust that, you know, this is fucking real, and toxicology is being done and a forensic investigation is being run. I mean, we're so used to being disappointed, aren't we? And feeling like, why can't this be fixed? You know, with Delphi and summer wells and things like that. But, you know, I think this will be solved. If it's not, you know, yeah. But see, this Kiely RODNI situation, her life now and her death, this will be another Wales Island. And Ryan Upchurch has really cemented that. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. You know, we don't know. I want to know, you know, was their phone in the car? It could have been there's some open windows there. It could have flown. I think they need to go and dive where Kylie's CRV was in Prosser, and I think they need to really got to watch the time. I think they need to get some scuba divers in, even dredge. I think they need to dredge that part of the lake and see what's, you know, what could have flown out of the car. Someone will, I mean, I think they have already slipped a few times. You know, what Sammy says is very, very worrisome. What, you know, talking about Kiely being let down by someone who said that they were giving her a ride and didn't. I mean, it sounds like Sammy herself. You know, what you would expect is somebody so overwhelmed with the sadness and desperation of the situation that even if you'd really want to then comfort them and say, you can't think like that, you know, you would expect somebody to be saying, you know, just to be very upset and saying, I just can't, I wish, you know, where are those statements? Oh, I wish I did this. I should have done that. All those shoulda. Those wish. You know, all those things that torment people. Just like Lindsay Rodney Neiman will be tormented by not going out to look for her daughter, when, you know, not staying up and then going out to look for her. You know, look, it is possible that the car wasn't there all the time and that it was put in Saturday night, because I think only civilians or something, friends, family, etc., were down at the sanctuary looking during Saturday, wasn't it? You know, I think I made a mistake before somewhere else saying, I think it was Kylie's friends who called law enforcement in the morning, but no, Lindsay was trying to chase up where Kiely was, got hold of the friends that were supposed to meet at the Boba house, I think, which is where Kiely had employment, and they were together. A different group, maybe Sammy, etc., went down to the sanctuary to look, and Lindsay, with the group of friends of Kylie's that were going hiking with her, they did end up calling law enforcement together at around 9 a.m. in the morning, something like that. And I think this should have been fast-tracked to some sort of Amber Alert or whatever for the car and for Kiely, because, you know, we've got this thing where, I'm missing for a certain amount of time. I don't think that law enforcement were down at the sanctuary that day, and it kind of leaves this window under the veil of night to allow someone to then bring in her car and put it in the lake Saturday night. you know, and then police were there ongoing from the Sunday. You know, the window of opportunity, I know. I mean, people can be really ballsy, stupid, ballsy, whatever. And I guess it could have happened after that as well if it wasn't there. I'm so torn. What do you guys think? Do you think that Kylie's car was always there? All right. I could ramble on like this for ages. It's a time I feel like, you know, I understand what Zab girl feels. She just wants to be there and around people when it feels so tense. You want to be talking it out. But now I've got to leave. But thanks for whomever's just popped in. Yeah. And yeah, I think, you know, it's seemingly there should be this result like now, pretty much very soon. And even if, you know, we've got to remember too, law enforcement can have this kind of wrapped up, you know, but they've now got to get everything in a row and everything together properly. But I'm confident, or hopeful, I guess, confident that there's going to be an arrest, several arrests, and in the very least, you know, people have just been very poor friends, very poor citizens. Yeah. Point was, we don't need upchurch to tell us something is wrong, and we certainly don't need him to take us down this psychotic rabbit hole. You can choose not to go down there. Doesn't matter. Let him live in that reality, and for all intents and purposes, with someone that's living that way, it's real. But you can choose not to be there with him and don't entertain it, because there are people that are very vulnerable in this world, and this sort of shit really takes hold in them, and it infects them, it destroys them, it degrades their mind, and it hurts them, it harms their existence, it harms their life, their experience here in this dimension. And whatever we can do to keep people safe, mentally safe, spiritually safe, we have to do it. Let that cocksucker go on this journey on his own. You know, okay, sure, he's just got this, you know, that movie, like, is it that Snow Train, you know, Snow Train or whatever, Ice or whatever. It's such a terrifying movie. It's this train that's just circumnavigating the world like that, right? And these people think they're the only people alive in the earth. This is the whole, you know, existence. Yeah. Someone is brave enough to jump off, right? Jump off. You don't need to be on that train. That's someone else's psychological experience. And you can just take it from someone that knows, okay? You know, this isn't something that you want to understand from experience. But let me tell you this, though. You probably have experienced it to a degree if you're in true crime, because everybody at one point falls down this type of rabbit hole in true crime, okay? It happens to the best of us, usually early in your true crime career, and then you know, you get a hold of yourself, you have an awakening back up, and you move on. Ryan needs to apologize. He needs to stop. He doesn't need to be supported in this. He shouldn't be given the you know, the airtime for this, but sadly he's going to, and it's very wrong. You know, what a tool. Okay, just guard your mental health, guard your spiritual health. You know, live in the reality that you want to live in. You know, it's not all sunshine in this reality. We know that terrible things happen, and something terrible's happened to Kiely RODNI. Kiely RODNI, the real person. It's not Kelly Ross. Kelly Ross, the character from a 2014 movie, perhaps, or whatever it is. Yeah, sure, it could be this very complicated fabrication, and the only way it could be is that, humans can't construct this. We can't do this. It would be something other. It's because we're in a computer program, we're in some sort of simulation. That's how it would work. But if you just want to live in a tangible here and now, or it doesn't even matter if we are a simulation, right here, right now, we feel like flesh and blood, we bleed, we love, we breathe, we emote, and we have relationships. We have relationships with each other. That's all you need to know about reality. And you don't deserve to have Ryan Upchurch come in and do this to you and do this to other people. Okay, people need to be stronger, but sadly, these dark ideas, these kind of demonic ideas in a way, because they want to take you out of your earth, out of your Eden. Not that this is Eden. Everything is in balance. There's no bad or good to nature. I can't go, I've really got to go right this second, but you don't deserve it. People don't deserve what he's doing and what's happening, and that's all I can really say. Okay, don't let him take you down, right? Hi, Grace. Milmac. Yeah, don't let him take you down. I think you get what I'm trying to say. Sadly, though, there are people that are vulnerable, and especially after what we've been through with our demic, and people have been isolated, people have been, there are these things, people they don't get it. There's a lot of people that are really naive. This is why, and we've all been there at some point about something. There's people that believe that there's really is this international, this council, this tribunal where people can give their testimony to judges, and that this is a real thing. No, this is just something set up so that people can just tell their bullshit stories about, I'm not saying Satanism, look, I've got to go. Love you and thank you, and please guard your minds, guard your hearts, guard your reality, guard your spirituality. And he is depriving others of oxygen. He is damaging people. There are people that won't get out of this, or what's going to happen too is he's so selfish, such a fool. Keep it to yourself, Ryan, but because he's spreading this, he's got such a big following that there's a lot of people. This is going to this will break up marriages. This will alienate people from friends because of the who believes it and who not, who goes there, who doesn't. And he does not care about the damage. And he's going to lie constantly that this is no means to an end. He's always going to double down. He's always going to backtrack. He's always going to, every time he knows he's fucking wrong, but he can't admit it, he's just going to it's that double down, and that's what he's doing. And it's disgusting. It is filth. It is filth. Keep it to yourself. He's so irresponsible. So you have to think either he is a massive troll, or he's really there, and he's just so arrogant that he can't help himself telling everyone about it. And and of course he doesn't see it. If he believes it, he's psychotic. We know this, right? As far as in this dimension goes, right? Let's just stay in this dimension. Thank you, humanimals. And as AK Rocks says, and others, because I know I have plenty of those. And see you later.